Hi, Dr. Cloud.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. If I wasn't complaining, if I didn't have a complaint, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. But,
Well, you know what,
I
Lisa?
just want
Lisa, I'm gonna make you feel better. If you don't have a
to.
complaint, you probably don't have a pulse, right?
Well, all right.
No, think about it. I
Well,
mean, about
yeah,
every however many seconds, your lungs complain. I'm out of air. Give me some air.
yeah,
Okay. That's part of
exactly,
life. Your stomach
exactly.
complains about every
Uh,
4 to 6 hours. That's all right.
I know,
Just
right?
just how we handle our
Yeah.
complaints, it matters.
Yes. Well, I'm calling because I have been I'm married and I've been separated from my spouse for about 8 years now. And I've been kind of convicted by the Spirit that I should speak to him about our situation. And so I'm right now, I've been vacillating between whether or not I should fully reconcile or or just go on and file for divorce. When I look at our situation, he was
Can
not
I can
abusive.
I can I
Um,
ask a question?
yes, yes.
You said you've been separated from for 8 years and 7 or 8 years. Was it eight? I think it's eight. Um, and
Hmm.
now you're being convicted that you ought to talk to him. Have you not in this separation? Has there not been a strategy, like a program, a talking, a
Well, well, um, well, I might as well just. Well, what happened was I was very frustrated with our. This is what happened. I was extreme. First of all, I, I should not have married him. And I was not in the right mindset to be married. I think that I was really trying to keep up with my peers and the
mm,
like. But regardless, I said, well, I made this commitment. I'm going to honor this commitment because I really do believe that marriage is ordained by God, and that
yeah,
and I also understand that everything is not going to be perfect. But what was
right.
extremely frustrating to me was the fact that we never really had a plan. And anytime I would speak to him about how we're going to govern our lives and how we're going to move through our life, I would get nebulous answers. The other thing that was frustrating to me was the fact that we were living in the same space with his mother. Even though it was a two-family home, um, I felt that
A little too
there
close.
was too close, too close, and I felt like we weren't on even playing field for us to start a new relationship.
Okay.
So
So
anytime
so
that,
my question was, though, in this 8 years of separation, so it
mhm,
sounds like you separated because things weren't going well from your side in the things that you wanted him to do and kind of living situation, this, that, and the other. That's why you separated. But what's the structure of the separation? You
uh,
mentioned plan and governance. A separation should have a plan and a governance to it.
well, right now, I am not living in the home with him. I am I'm living elsewhere, and we do communicate on important things like taxes, or if somebody dies, oh, send a text, oh, so and so passed,
Yeah, but
you
that
know.
that's not
But
that's not a structure and a plan for working on the marriage.
right,
Right.
right,
So
and that's
so
another reason. Hmm.
well, I think that's going to be my answer to your ultimate question is to make, see, you're trying to ascertain, do I pull the plug? Or you said, do I fully reconcile? I think that was your phrase, fully reconcile, right?
Yeah, but here's the
Okay.
thing, Dr. Cloud. In the midst of all of this frustration and stuff, I was involved in an extramarital affair, and I looked at that as, oh, that's my way out, because in my mind, I still feel that I cannot go back into a situation with him and be the wife that he needs or what he desires me to be.
Well, okay, but that's, I'm gonna get back. I feel like I get it. You're going to honor your commitment, all right. But there's a lot of things about this that I think are kind of missing. Let's put it that way. All right. When you said, should I do the divorce or fully reconcile? Okay. Fully reconcile is a term that has a process as the referent. In other words, we wouldn't use the term fully reconcile if there weren't such a thing as progressive reconciliation. The fully is done, like, for example, if you've ever been involved in a construction project, okay, they don't like buy the dirt and say, here, build the house or build the building, and here's all the money. They don't fully pay it off before it's built. What they do is, I mean, unless you've built a lot and great trust there, what they do is they say, we're going to do this in pieces, and as you fulfill this, then we'll fund the next piece. And that's what I meant by the structure of this separation. See, when somebody separates, a lot of times they'll separate. There's a couple of valid reasons, I think, for separating without a plan. One of them is safety. Okay, that's the most immediate one. A lot of times people need to get out of the house and get out of the house now because you're in danger. Okay. So obviously you don't have to come up with a plan before you call 911 and get out of the house and go to a shelter and hide or whatever it is you need to do to be safe. All right. Sometimes the emotional abuse, sometimes there's protection of kids. There's a lot of reasons why a plan would come after the separation in certain instances. But the farther we go up that line where nobody's in danger, okay, but there's real significant reasons that aren't being addressed. For example, the other person's an addict. Okay, you're not in danger, but that's a significant reason this needs to be addressed. What you do is you separate and you say, like you said, I'm committed to the relationship. I want the relationship to work. Okay, I care about you. I care about us. I want us to reconcile. And here's how that's going to happen. If we're going to go to counseling together. We're going to have a third party. B, you're going to get sober. C, whatever it is. And there's steps. And as they start to fulfill those steps, then that ends up greatly helping you, if not making the decision for you in some instances. So that's why my first question was, what is the structure of the separation? Because to just have no plan and nothing that, he's being held accountable to is going to leave you in la la land.
Well, at first we did go to counseling. And we only had like one session, and we never went back. But it was, we ended up doing individual counseling. Meaning we had like, I think maybe like 2 sessions together. But then we did, then we had mainly individual counseling. But
Right.
I
But
I was
my
so
point
I
is
was
that is
so
not
angry
a
and so frustrated.
requirement. That's not a requirement of that we're going to go to counseling being fulfilled. That's
Right.
my
I
point.
understand what you're saying, Doctor.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's my answer.
What I did not right. So I did not basically come up and say, well, these are the things, because by the time
Right.
I had gotten to that point, I had pretty much said, I don't even want to be bothered. I don't even want to talk, because
Right.
talking to me right now about this situation is just going to be null and void, because it's I felt like
And that's my point.
I just
That's why
needed
one of the
to
requirements
get out.
was, because you were so wanting to get out, one of the requirements was, I don't want to talk to you. Okay. Since I don't want to talk to you, because like you're saying, it does no good to talk to you. The only place I'll talk to you is with the counselor. And if you drop out of counseling, and we don't have to like the first one, but if you drop out of counseling, then I'm done talking to you and the clock starts over. So here's what I would want you to do. I would want you, if you're saying, look, I'm really open to reconciling, okay, but I don't know exactly what would be the go button for us reconciling that I could, agree to kind of various stages of first starting to talk in counseling. Stage two was maybe then we could talk one on one at a dinner somewhere and see if that works. You know,
Mhm.
but I don't even know how to do that. I want us to go to
Right.
counseling and get a plan together. So that's my answer. That's your
Right.
first step, I think, is to invite him to marriage counseling. And if he doesn't want to go, then tell him, okay, I'm going to marriage counseling. I'm not going to individual counseling. I'm going to marriage counseling.
Mhm.
And I'm going to talk about our
Mhm.
marriage and what to do with that. And since I'm going to be making decisions about our marriage, it's going to affect you. So I would suggest that you show up, and the appointment's Tuesday at 2:30. And here's the address.
Mhm.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
After you invite him, if the
Okay.
inviting doesn't work. I just want you to have a structure for
Right.
this, Lisa, so you're not lost another 8 years. I feel for that. Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
here's the
I got to
thing.
run,
A
get to some
part of
other
me does
call.
not. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. A part of you doesn't, yeah, but you're not going to know even that. That's not going to even be able to be resolved apart from a process. That's my whole point. You can't do this in a vacuum.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank,
Thank
thanks
you.
for your call. I hope it works out better than it has. You know, we as humans, um, we have a default. Uh, what's the word? I don't know. A default drive, if you will. Okay. Obviously, our system wants to immediately, as quickly as possible, to remove itself from being stressed, which means being hurt, being pushed, being stretched, challenged, put out over our skis. We do everything to retreat from that to what's called homeostasis, which is kind of like status quo. I feel fine, a neutral position, right? Okay. Of course, we do that. That's how we're designed. If I'm sitting in this chair and I start to lean over, my system wakes up and reads that as, no, go back to neutral where there's no effort, there's no pain. We're just, there. That's great. We're designed to do that, except when neutral is a problem, right? When if I need more money, and to do that, I got to get off the couch, neutral has become a problem. So I've got to lean into some distress. I've got to lean into being stretched. I've got to lean into something that I don't want to lean into in order to get what I need, in order to get what I want. That's why one of my favorite verses in Proverbs, it says, hunger is good for the worker because it drives the worker to work and to achieve. Desire, hunger is a good thing. Hunger for a good relationship is a good thing. It will drive us to go through hell sometimes in a good way, in a constructive way. But sometimes when we sit there without a structure to drive us through the hell that we have to go through, which in a good way, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about sometimes it's just painful to be in a room with a person. It's painful to talk about certain topics. It's painful to put out, I feel a lot better when I'm away from you than if I have to talk to you. Yeah, that's right. But if it's ever going to be good talking to them, we got to go through the hard talking to them.